The first note is not a sound, but a breath. A tremor in the air, soft as a sigh, carried through time like a whisper from another world. This is the bassoon, the voice of the forgotten. Its timbre a relic from a time when music was both art and ritual, woven into the fabric of daily life. Its voice is low, a murmur beneath the grandeur of the violin and the brilliance of a harpsichord. A secret that only the most attentive ears can hear. To listen to the bassoon is to step into the past, where the weight of history rests on every note, and the present is only a shadow of what once was. The bassoon does not announce itself. It lingers, a presence that only grows stronger with time, like the memory of a lost song. And so, the bassoon's breath becomes a story, one that is not told but felt, carried through the centuries like the hush of a forgotten hymn. The bassoon is not just an instrument. It is a vessel of breath, a whisper of the human voice in a world of strings and brass. In the Baroque era, it was the shadowy companion of the oboe, often lost in the grandeur of orchestral texture, yet never silent. Each note is a sigh, each phrase a memory. The bassoon is the instrument that carries the heaviest of emotions. In the Baroque bandstand, it is not the star, but it is the soul, the breath that binds the music to the silence between the notes. To play the bassoon is to walk through time, to breathe life into the echoes of a forgotten age, to speak in the language of the lost. The bassoon is not just an instrument, it is a voice from the past, a whisper from the Baroque era that still hums in the marrow of our musical soul. You may not have heard it in decades, but bassoon's sigh still echoes in the grandeur of concert halls, where time stands still and silence speaks louder than words. When you hear a bassoon, you are hearing the breath of those who came before, composers who shaped the soul of music with trembling hands and hearts full of longing. The bassoon's sound is a bridge between eras, a tether to a time when music was not just heard, but felt in the bones and in the spirit. Even if you never play it, the bassoon reminds you that music is more than sound. It is memory, emotion, and the quiet persistence of the human spirit. The bassoon's voice first echoed in the courtly halls of 16th century Europe, a noble instrument born from the desire to blend the human voice with the mechanical. It was not yet the Baroque beast we know, but a whisper of the future. By the 17th century, the bassoon had transformed, longer, more refined, its curved body a symbol of the era's fascination with form and function. It found its place in the court and church, carrying the weight of sacred and secular sound. The 18th century saw the bassoon rise from the shadows of the orchestra, its sound both tender and commanding. Composers like Handel and Vivaldi began to write for it, giving it a voice that could both weep and command. Through the 19th century, the bassoon became a symbol of the romantic spirit, a deep, resonant voice capable of expressing both sorrow and triumph. Its rise was marked by the invention of the modern bassoon, with its greater range and richer tone. In the 20th century, the bassoon found its place in the modern orchestra, its sound no longer bound to the past, but a living part of the symphonic palette. Yet, in its breath, there is always a trace of the Baroque echo. From court to concert hall, the bassoon has carried the weight of time. A breath, a sound, a story. In its voice, we hear the past, the present, and the quiet promise of the future. The bassoon is like a whisper from the past, a voice that hums in the dark. It carries the weight of time, the slow breath of history. In the Baroque bandstand, it was not just an instrument. It was a storyteller, a keeper of secrets, breathing life into silent air. The bassoon's breath is not loud, but it echoes through time, a quiet protest against the silence of the world. It is the voice of the forgotten, the voice of the quiet, the voice that lingers in the spaces between notes. To listen to the bassoon is to hear the heartbeat of a world that once was, and still remembers. The bassoon is more than an instrument. It is a vessel of breath, a whisper of the soul carried through the air. Its body, carved from wood, holds the weight of centuries of sound. Before the first note is played, the musician sits in quiet, adjusting the instrument with the care of someone preparing for a sacred ritual. The bassoon is not just played, it is awakened. The musician's breath, slow and steady, becomes the first thread of sound. It enters through the mouthpiece, through the reed, and into the hollow heart of the instrument. Each note is a ripple in time, a fragment of the past carried forward by the breath of the present. The bassoon does not merely play, it remembers. To play the bassoon is to enter a dialogue with the past, to carry its echoes into the present, and to let them linger in the silence between the notes. The bassoon's body is a hollow chamber, carved from wood, shaped like a curved horn, its curves echoing the slow, undulating breath of the river. Within this chamber, the air moves in slow, deliberate waves, guided by the musician's fingers pressing against the keys, like a conductor shaping the wind. The reed, a thin strip of cane, vibrates at the mouthpiece, transforming the air into sound, a trembling, woody sigh that carries the weight of centuries. This is where the breath becomes music, where the air, once simple and unformed, is shaped into something ancient and haunting, something that is echoed through time. The bassoon is not just an instrument. It is an echo of the past, a vessel for the breath of those who came before, whispering through the stillness of the Baroque age. The bassoon's breath is not just air, but a whisper of time, a sigh from the past that lingers in the air like a ghost of forgotten melodies. Each note is a breath taken from the soul of the Baroque era, a sound shaped by the labor of hands that carved this instrument from the heart of a tree long dead. In the Baroque bandstand, the bassoon does not shout, it murmurs, a quiet presence that binds the chaos of sound into something fragile and sacred. It is the breath of the past, carried forward by the hands of those who still play, still breathe, still listen to the ghosts that live in the wood. The bassoon's sound is born of air, compressed and shaped by wood and metal, a breath made tangible. It hums with the weight of centuries, a voice that is echoed through courtly halls and cathedral aisles. Each note's a vibration, a ripple in the air, a whisper from the past. It carries the breath of composers who once dreamed of sound, their hands now still, their visions alive in the wood. The bassoon is more than an instrument. It is a vessel for the unseen. It holds the weight of memory, the ache of absence, the quiet sorrow of a melody that has outlived its composer. In its hum, we hear the slow pulse of history, the rhythm of a world that once breathed in harmony. We are not just listeners, we are inheritors of that breath, carrying it forward, trembling with the weight of what we carry. The science of sound, the art of memory, the ache of time, all of it lives in the bassoon's breath. It is not just music. It is a mourning for what is past, and a hope for what might yet be heard. The bassoon is like a man in a suit, standing at the edge of a grand room, holding a pipe that hums with ancient secrets. He doesn't move much, but every breath he takes fills the air with a sound that feels both heavy and light, like the weight of history on his chest. He is not the star, but he is the anchor, the steady, resonant presence that holds the music together, even when the world around it is in motion. In the end, he is not remembered for his technique, but for the way his sound lingers, like a memory of a man who knew how to breathe in music. Before you go, if you enjoyed this, please give it a like, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And tell us in the comments what you'd like us to make next. We read every single one. Thank you so much for watching. Comment this emoji if you made it to the end.